Okay, let's get into it. So, with ribbon cane, it's kind of more or less the same basic setup. You have a paddle of color, and you put clear on either side of that, and twist it down. I've got some snow white, some Roswell, some transparent Gold-Amethyst, a couple pieces of 7 mil, piece of 15 mil here. So we're gonna start out this setup. Give you a fairly big pull of ribbon cane. And I'm gonna set up the end of this 15 mil rod so I can stack 3 pieces of that white next to each other. And alternatively, you can just gather up a ball of color and smash it and then put the clear on either side. But the whole point with this method that I'm using here is if you want an opaque color on one side and you want a transparent color to pop on the other side, then you put white in between so that I'm going to put the white layer in between a layer of the Roswell and a layer of the transparent amethyst. That way you'll have a white background for that transparent color. So I've got this kind of rectangular end on the end of this 15 mil rod that I set up. So it's kind of set up to have that, I'm going to have a rectangle of color I'm going to build on there. So clean up the end of this white. And then I'm going to attach one piece right in the middle, about 1.5 to 2 inch piece. And this, like I said, this is going to be a pretty big chunk. So if you just want to make like a small, if you just want to make some ribbon cane and you have a smaller torch, just gathering up a ball of color, smashing it, and then putting the clear on either side is the whole ticket with ribbon cane. You'll see how I work that down when we get into this here. So I've got one stick on there, and then I'm just going to kind of slap 2 more pieces on either side. And then if you really want to go to town and make really big pieces of ribbon cane, you can if you have there's like arbor presses with graphite you can use, or if you just have a really big smasher paddle to paddle it down on your graphite pad, that's an option. You use flat cane, there's all sorts of like I said, lots of different ways to build up the stock. As long as the whole point is just get that flat piece of color in between larger amounts of clear, and just squaring this end up. I just have that little piece of graphite that was from another marver of mine, and it fits right in, so you can get that. You can hit something from 3 sides at once and square things up that way. Same kind of like doing with that. So yeah, I'm just kind of working I've just tagged the rod on here so I can work those rods together a little bit better. They have little valleys in between. Kind of want to smooth it out so I don't trap air in there. Cut that off. And this, this method is with the 3 rods. That way it can be a little bit more awkward than if you just gather up a whole bunch of color and smash it, into a ball and then smash it and then pull it out into a flat piece. You spend more time. It's kind of probably takes about the same amount of time to gather up color, and then the time I'm spending kind of cleaning this up, so I don't, it's kind of debatable which one is faster. With that white, kind of nice to not have to work it too much so it doesn't boil. So now I'm just going to stripe this color down. Some relatively opaque Northstar Roswell green with a nice like chartreuse green, bright green. So just striping the color down so that it have the angle of the rod so that I'm working the air out as I go, that upward angle, so you don't trap bubbles in there. And then you kind of push the glass in against the neighboring line to make sure you don't skip and trap air. Get that one side covered. This Molten or Gold-Amethyst sometimes looks really blue when you get it. I thought they sent me the wrong color one time. From I don't know, from batch to batch, sometimes it kind of strikes out as you work it. So sometimes these rods look like transparent blue. It'll, turns to a nice grapey amethyst purple. It's not really like other striking colors. They batch the molten aura colors, so it might just be the formula, the gold formula, but they don't strike like a red or amber purple. They just kind of darken as you work them. I've tried to kiln strike them, and they don't really respond to that quite as well as just working them. It's unusual as far as striking colors go, in my experience. It's great. It's expensive stuff, but they're nice and air-free and stable. And they're on the stiff side, but so now I'm just working from the end over, kind of trying to maintain a flat, uniform paddle there. You melt it in, from the end back. That way, you kind of, if you have any a lot of times you do end up with some little channels of air in between where you laid the lines down. but if you melt it in, working from the front back and kind of marver as you go, it'll chase that air out. You should end up with a nice bubble-free chunk of color. Pretty important to avoid bubbles, and when you're preparing twisted cane, because when you melt that down and pull it all out, a lot of times you have a good sized bubble in there. When you go to stretch it out, you basically just create a long skinny tube inside your cane, and then every time you melt it off, it's gonna have a bubble in it, or you melt it, you'll get bubbles in every piece of it once it melts in. And just heat this whole thing up. Give it a good smash. Ribbon cane looks pretty nice when you want a high ratio of clear to color. For maximum ribbon effect. Just get, you want that thin twisting band in your cane, and so this is on the thick side, but I'm going to add quite a bit of clear to it. It looks pretty good. Okay, and so I have a piece of 25 millimeter here, some like 1-inch solid rod I had heating up in the kiln with a 10 mil handle on there. You can heat up the 1-inch, in the torch flame, and just you have to take your time with it to avoid cracking it. It's a pretty hefty chunk of solid glass, so you just need to go slow with it. But in this case, just having it sitting in the kiln at 1050, it's all ready to go. Just jump in and go right at it. I'm basically going to use half of this 1-inch blank on each side of this colored paddle. So I want to get it ripping hot. I had my filter on the camera for this. I don't know why there's so much sodium flare, if it was like not covering properly. It's not like there's much, not missing much. Okay, so we just smashed it down from the top there, and then this little maneuver, heat this up and then slop it back over and then melt off at the top. You just need to really get in there with that smaller flame, and then I came and folded back over once more with the little thread, and then you kind of or overlapping that trail of glass. Yeah, I don't know what's up with happened to my filter here. Doesn't even look like it's on right now. Oh boy, you guys. So, second verse, same as the first. This is just about a lot, you know, getting a lot of heat into there. There was a little piece of scuzz or something on there. You can, you know, if you have some scratches or funk on the surface of your clear, you can skim it, you know, with a cold rod. Just heat the surface up and skin it. Not skim it. And then you get the heat in between, you know, as you're bending it over, so that you don't, it's too cold, you get these weird kind of halos and things that you won't really see when you pull it down, but I'm trying to get this as clear as possible. Okay. And then, you know, if you put this clear on there and it's not, you know, you can always go and swipe some more. You can swipe clear on there as much as you want. Using that 1-inch rod lets you do this in, you know, about 2 moves aside from the fussing. And then I'm kind of trying to pull the lump of clear towards the top to like distribute it down a little bit more evenly. And then you'll see as I heat this up and yeah, kind of push it down. And sometimes things look kind of ugly at first, and then you just kind of nudge things along. You know, you'd be surprised that glass wants to. It wants to be round, you know, and it's like the, you know, surface tension with water. I don't know if glass officially has like surface tension, but when it's moving, you know, it's this viscous substance that if you turn it evenly and heat it evenly, it will eventually turn into a round ball. And so just want to get a bunch of heat in here. Now the idea is to, you know, turn this mass of glass into a cylinder shape to start. And so and then once you do that, you'll be able to see how even your clear is, and if you have like one clear side that's short on clear, you know, you can go ahead and stripe some more clear on there. This is looking pretty good. Yeah, and you can do this as big or as small as you want. used to make ribbon cane with a Fetre soft glass, 104 glass all the time for bead making, and that's a breeze. You know, you just gather up a little bit of color and smash it and put a dollop of clear on each side of that paddle and twist it out and you're good to go. Okay, so now I'm talking about indicating that I'm going to stripe some clear, that little bit of exposed color, since we have like a colored paddle and then we have clear and clear on either side. I'm gonna stripe just a bit of clear just to case that exposed white and just the exposed color so that this whole thing is within clear glass. That way don't encounter any sort of weird texture issues or boiling or anything like that. It's more just like a little bit of protection for the ribbon cane. And you can change the aesthetic of the ribbon cane by adding more clear to these sides if you want like the ribbon to be set more in a core of clear. I like, it's just a different look. If you want the ribbon to be more floating inside the core of clear glass, then you add more clear over those edges of the color. By just adding just enough clear to cover the color, you get the, then the color has the appearance of going all the way to the edges. I think it's more, it's a little bit more bold. And if you wanted to have a ribbon inside of, other lines, you could put a bunch more clear on that, on the edges of the colored paddle, and then you could lay more lines, over this blank. Making cane is fun. There's so many possibilities and so many different ways to go about it. The main bonus of this particular demo is that I'm showing you how to use transparent colors with opaque colors. No rocket science, no big deal. I've got some diamond shears here and I'm just pulling down to get all of that probably didn't need, it's a little bit more than I a little bit more than I needed to cut off there, but you want to draw all the color and clear together, and then when you attach your point, that's gonna help your twist be consistent. If you don't draw the color, if you don't draw it all together at the point right there, it doesn't have that center axis like chilled and focused for it to twist from. So if you want like a straight, even coiled twisted ribbon, it needs to be centered. Otherwise, cane will twist out fine, no matter what. But if it's not focused on center, then it'll change the way that the ribbon will twist out. So that's kind of the first order of business once the cane is built, is to using those diamond shears draws everything together, and it also chills it, so that gives you a little bit more control when you attach to it. Just marvering down this other shoulder. Yeah, sorry about this sodium flare. Doesn't even seem like my filter. It seems like my filter fell off. I mean, so I'm just using my graphite necking tool to neck down the other side. Give it a wiggle. Yeah, I don't know about you guys, but there's just certain things that I'm more comfortable doing with my left hand than with my right hand, so it's not very efficient, but I'll swap things around so that I'm comfortable. So that's all good to go now. Now it's just all about building heat and we don't want to turn it or start twisting it, until it's all sorted out there with the heat base and the shaping. And then I'll start tapering with the marver on one end and giving it a little twist to get it going. You want it to be a nice, nice cylindrical shape so that it twists out evenly. And then I'm just turning and heating and turning my right hand towards me a little faster as I pull. So whenever you stretch cane, you have to compensate by twisting it. Yeah, twisted cane. Don't twist your marinis. Depending on what you're using the cane for, like this was some cane I was making for a pen blank, for a pen handle, and so I don't want to pull it down too much. I'll usually pull it down close for a lot of things. I'll pull stuff close to what I need it to be if I'm making like a kind of a bulk amount. And then I'll pull it down the rest of the way and finish, tighten the twist on it. Depending on the project, I'm just kind of trying to pull it down and get an even twist on it so that it's a little easier to heat it up. But if you're trying to pull a whole bunch of skinny cane, if you're trying to pull this like all the way down to 4mm or something smaller, you can go for it and just pull the cane out from the blank to that diameter as far as your arm can reach, and then snip it up and punny on and pull out the rest. It really just depends on what it's for. Come in, just kind of, like I said, this is was going to get a couple pens out of this, so getting it down to about 12 to 15 millimeter diameter. So I'm pulling off one piece and neck it down. Diamond shears. The diamond shears can help you save some material with your twisted cane, other things. You're not sitting there trying to flame cut. And when you're, depending on what you're building, you can shorten and lengthen cane as long as you compensate. Like, most importantly, if you lengthen it, you have to keep twisting it to keep the cane, keep the twist in it. If you stretch out cane, you have to twist it more to maintain the same twist that you had. And yeah, so there's some 2-color ribbon cane, but opaque on one side, and then you put white, and then you can use any transparent color on the other side. And then obviously, if you want to use 2 transparent colors, you just put white in the middle, and stuff looks awesome. Some cobalt blue and white in the middle, and some transparent green on the other side, or whatever floats your boat. So yeah, I hope that was helpful, and thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys on the flippity flip.